Scorpio Strong, Scorpio Gone. Hey everyone, this is the Birthday Coach Jeremy Riden saying you were born for more love, money, and happiness, and I want to help you do just that through the secrets of astrology. What I mean, Scorpio Strong, Scorpio Gone. The other day, after posting on my Scorpio Rising series, one of the followers, and I have the best followers, thank you everyone that follows me, subscribe now and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these great videos, asked Jeremy, can you do just a little longer video about the leaving behind aspect of Scorpio? Questions like, are Scorpios, are they called to be nomads? Are they called to be leavers? They seem to constantly be going through transformations and leaving places and people behind. And can you talk a little bit more about that? And I've talked quite a bit about it in the Scorpio Rising series, but I know not everyone's a Scorpio riser. You can have a Scorpio sun sign, Scorpio moon. That would make you Scorpio strong. Sun, moon, rising sign, definitely. Or you could have none of those, but you've got Pluto touching the sun, touching the moon, touching all of these different aspects. That would make you Scorpio strong. Or you could have a lot of planets in that 8th house, giving you an 8th house stellium, which is ruled by Pluto and Scorpio traditionally. So lots of ways that we can see people being Scorpio strong. Now, why is the Scorpio gone? Well, the reason is you have to understand what is Scorpio, what is the 8th house, what is Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio. Scorpio is all about transformation. I said that word, but more than transformation, transcend, to go beyond. You cannot go beyond something unless you're moving beyond it, moving forward. And so we see a lot of times people with strong Scorpio placements, they have this moving to different places, different people, and you can't move to new horizons and new settings if you're not leaving behind the old. Why are they leaving behind the old? It's because a lot of times they have outgrown their surroundings. You see, Scorpio is about truth. Truth. 8th house is about truth, universal truth, hidden truth, deeper truth. Now, there's a lot of truths about, going into elementary, middle school, high school, truths about your occupation. But Scorpio cares about the eternal truths, spiritual truths, enlightenment. And so this, a lot of times, is caused by what? Pain and suffering. People always say, well, you use and fill in the label for the religion as a crutch. Yes, many people go to God, to spirit, to religion as a crutch. I see nothing wrong with that. I'm probably going to get some arguments there, but we need spirit. We need that higher source, that higher connection. Scorpio realizes that, and there's almost an instinctual drive to really find out authentically what is the truth about them, about life, about love, about it all. And it's a constantly going deeper, deeper, deeper. And a lot of people cannot hang with the Scorpio. They can't go that deep. They don't care about that kind of level of understanding or that kind of level of connecting to another because, Scorpio is merging, right? So we think the 8th house it is sex, it is merging. So we see a lot of Scorpios they always get that sex vibe or they're sexy, but merging even so with spirit. And merging even so deeper with their heart and their emotions. And this is brought on, once again, through pain and suffering sometimes because the 8th house rules crisis. Now, it's other people's crisis. So a lot of times, Scorpio's being dragged into drama from other people, that they're being asked to solve problems that invade their boundaries because that's part of the process of learning psychological truth. The psyche, the soul, what is these truths? Well, a lot of times we learn truths that are real through pain, suffering, heartache, crisis. And the 8th house is the house of death and loss. So we're seeing, once again, that a lot of times a Scorpio strong person is gone moving forward because there is a loss in a relationship, a loss of appointment, a loss of friendship. And that is to trigger the self-growth of a Scorpio person. You see, we signed up in this lifetime, whether you believe it or not, for soul growth, for your soul to grow. And if you got a lot of Scorpio placements in your chart, you said, I want to grow as fast as I can grow. And usually what grows you faster than anything is extreme experiences. Scorpio's the sign of extremes. So really feeling this way and then something happening and putting you the other way. You're getting the spectrum from both sides, which seems to a lot of people to be very, extremist. But these extreme situations are really getting you more in growing your spiritual side, growing all the things that we need to grow as a human being: forgiveness, kindness, compassion, truth, mercy, things that only come through experience. Real truth is an experimental truth. So we can got book knowledge, but book knowledge is one thing, but heart knowledge and heart knowledge that's been there and have experienced it and lived through it is quite different than just theories. And Scorpio is signed up to live through a lot of these harder lessons in life to develop the quality of their personality and their psychology and their soul and their spirit. Now, Scorpio itself is a sign of elimination. That's why we see that nomad, that traveling, moving on, leaving things behind. Scorpio is to get used to letting things go. You don't have to get used to letting things go, but it will happen regardless of no matter how hard you hold on. One of the best advice I can give to a Scorpio riser, Scorpio sun, moon, someone with Pluto in their chart, is to let go when the universe says so. Go with the flow. Don't try to make relationships last. Don't try to make career last. I know that doesn't sound like, really like what we would say the opposite sign of Scorpio, Taurus. Taurus is about accumulation. How much can I accumulate? How much material things can I get? And, Scorpio is about elimination. How minimalism. How can I get rid of things that are weighing me down from what? From that 8th house of transcendence, transformation, growing. We see a lot of times that the sign of the Scorpio is the phoenix. Remember, the phoenix of healing, of new life, only comes after the ashes. And so once again, when spirit determines that it's time for you to go to another level of truth, another level of soul expansion, for a Scorpio strong placement, bye-bye. There's something usually in your life that you're eliminating. Whether this is a belief you used to hold on from a former religion or friendships or thoughts. If a Scorpio person is thinking the same way at 50 as they have thought at 20, you have wasted 30 years of your life. That's a Muhammad Ali's quote saying you shouldn't think the same at 50 as you do at 20. And why? Because you've lived life. Scorpio, you're learning to know what to hold on to and what to let go of. And what you're holding on to is really eternal truth. Not so much who is your husband or wife or children or your identity, this earthly identity, but holding on to more of that spiritual identity, that higher calling, those deeper truths that we see in that, in all the water houses 4, 8, and 12. So this video's going on. There's 3, you got to realize, down the road I'm going to talk, there's 3 images about the Scorpio. Besides just the phoenix, there's the Scorpio, the ego, then the phoenix. And Scorpios are very emotional, instinctive, meaning they know that they're a powerful person. And when they feel like someone is disrespecting them or someone is not honoring that power or trying to bully them, they'll lash out with that stinger. Even if it hurts them, costs them a job, a relationship, it's just instinctual. They can't help it because there's a lot of Pluto energy. Pluto's the planet of power. Pluto was discovered when they dropped the nuclear bombs, meaning a little thing can have a lot of power. You may be only 5'2", but if you got a lot of Scorpio energy, there's a lot of energy underneath your surface. And if someone is disrespecting that energy when you're a young Scorpio, bam, that thing can go off, even if you didn't want to. It's like handling, a grenade, and you're not knowing how to handle your own energies. Whereas the Scorpio ego, begins to realize I am powerful, but I'm not going to be triggered by everyone else that's trying to attack me or misunderstand me, because I realize, Scorpio, the sign of psychology, being psychological, being able to understand with the mind people's emotions. So as you, as a Scorpio, deal with your own emotions and grow emotionally mature, you become that ego that is able to really understand the emotions of other people. That's why a lot of times Scorpio make great psychologists, because I know why you're an asshole. I know why, because I see your childhood. I see what you've been through. I'm not even offended, because I understand why you're doing what you're doing emotionally. That's that ego. Now, the ego can become a great person that helps heals others or manipulates others, because, once again, it's Scorpio's about power. How are you using that power? The ego can take that power and not be manipulated by others, but actually help other people with their emotions. Or you see some bad egos that actually in sales and in the other situations know how to emotionally manipulate people. Once again, how are you using that Scorpio energy is going to be up to you in spirit. But remember, karma, what goes around comes around. Then we get into that Phoenix. And what also thing about the ego that I like, how it's a step above the Scorpio image, is if you look at egos, rarely do you see them on the ground. Rarely do you see them, among every other bird or every other thing going on. Eagles are known to what? Symbolically fly above the fray of it all. Fly on the winds of the wings, way, way up there above everything else. A true Scorpio, after it has dealt with so much emotional junk and drama and pain, learns to not allow all the drama of the moment to bring them down anymore. They rise above it. They fly above it. They soar above it. And everyone else like, why aren't you mad? Or why aren't you upset? Or why aren't you? And the Scorpio's like, you're taking it. Don't take that personally. Don't take this personally. This drama will pass. Life, I've been through too much. This is nothing. Just let it go. Something else will come along. So that ego wisdom of not letting your emotions in the moment dictate your behavior. And that's a truth that Scorpio risers and the other Scorpio placements are learning. Notice that ego, a lot of times they say egos, what? They're solitary birds, or even the Scorpios out in the desert, in the cave. One of the things with these images is the solitude. You're going to see a lot of solitude, not only moving on if you got a lot of Scorpio placements, but a lot of solitude. Why solitude? Why time alone? Because the kind of information, eighth house information, the occult knowledge, astrology, tarot, metaphysical science, the law of the mind, law of attraction, whether it's ghosts or the other spirits, these things, that psychological insights, these things are not truths and character traits that you develop just, by talking to someone else about it in between breaks at work. No, these are very personal truths, spiritual truths, higher truths that take time for you to ponder on, that take time for you to read, to not just, like I said, read it in the comic books. You're studying, you're researching, you're reading all these books and watching videos like mine, hopefully, and doing the study and asking yourself those personal questions that take time for you to journal and look over your life. And so it takes time to get to the new level that Scorpio Strong Placement is asking you. And you can't do that if you're busy running around with all your friends, running around with, partying all the time. Not that a Scorpio can't party, not that you can't have time of having a lot of friends, but at some point in your life, you will most likely feel like you're cut off, you're isolated, you're alone. And you have to realize, how am I, not that this is punishment, I'm not, how am I alone without being lonely? How do I take my private time and really use that for self-development, for personal growth, for higher wisdom, and honor that anytime that spirit, notice this, anytime that spirit is putting you through the wilderness being a time of alone and feeling by yourself, it's not to leave you in the wilderness. It's not to leave you as a Scorpio. It's to eventually have you soar above the wilderness into an ego. and get into the promised land. There's always a promised land. There's always another level for a Scorpio riser that's willing to do the work in the downtime. Do the work in the downtime. Do the work in your isolation. But the trick is this: when you're being isolated, don't get so isolated that you still can't connect with another, that you're still not having other people in your life, because Scorpio is 8th house. 8th house is other people. So you still need other people, even in your moments of solitude. You'll be able to go a lot longer than most people in almost having a solitary life at different times of your life. But don't get used to it to where it becomes a depression. Don't get used to it to where now you're just kind of becoming neurotic about it. Make sure you remind yourself, I still got to come up for air. I still got to come out into the light. I still got to mingle among mortals. And I love that. And now, if you're watching all this, I'm already gone into 15 minutes. If you're still here after 15 minutes, you're a true Scorpio something, because you're sticking with it. If you're watching this, notice this. Scorpios definitely can still have very deep relationships, because the 8th house is the house of deepness, right? It's very deep. And so do not think that you can't have deep love, deep relationship, deep faith. Everything about your life is deep. And because it's deep, you can't remain in the shallow relationships, shallow jobs that don't speak to who you really are on a deeper level. That's why there's a lot of leaving behind. That's why there's a lot of letting go, is because you're not here to grow stale and old. You're here constantly to just constantly almost reinvent yourself into another layer of your authentic truth. Because what is happening is the more you go deeper, the more you become authentic, learning who you truly are on a soul level. And that's a little different for everyone. But anyways, I'm going to let it go for now. I'm going to speak more about it later on. But if you're Scorpio strong, and it feels like you're gone, a lot of times there's a leaving aspect to your life. The only way you're going to have peace, right? Peace is to come to peace with that leaving aspect, with that moving beyond people, with that having to shed off what is no longer relevant to your truth, to your heart, to your well-being, and so to your expansion. And so if you can get comfortable that loss of relationships or loss of jobs or anything that looks materially lost is not to punish me, it's only to expand me. And the more I expand, the more I realize that Spirit's always got my back. Spirit is always with me. Spirit has many other wonderful horizons for me to see, but I can't see it if I'm trying to hold on to everything that is no longer in this season of my life.